What's up, guys? I hope everyone's having a great start to your week. This is the Monday Market Report for the week ending January 16, 2022. We're going to take a look at the most relevant post-1900 era, or what I like to call modern era of U.S. coins to have sold on the secondary market. These are all, of course, graded coins. So this market kind of helps project a little bit of a temperature check of the market and where it's at. We are officially kind of like in full swing for the year. Some would say that the busier time of the year is like that fall season, September to November time frame, but you can also make the argument because a lot of the higher profile coin shows that happened at the beginning of the year, and we're kind of going back to back here for January, February, and March, with a number of really big shows that really set the stage for the year. Now, this particular instance, we have the Florida United Numismatist show that went on this week. As a matter of fact, the last day was yesterday for the event in Orlando, California. So you would think that maybe Great Collections, even though they were in attendance at the show and had their own booth, but so did Heritage Auctions and a few of the other companies, even grading companies, were in attendance as well. You would think that Great Collections would normally kind of throttle down their offerings for the week because of the big show. Heritage has their own show that they have hosted online as well, with a lot of premier level coins. And then we'll probably end up kind of doing a recap on a few of those particular sales as well as we go on through this week. Again, too much information can be a good thing, especially when it comes to secondary market sales. We'll certainly kind of gauge that and monitor it throughout all of the various auction sites. And I figure checking out the Heritage Auctions sponsored and hosted fun coverage would be, a good idea in this instance. But all the listings that we see here today are going to be from Great Collections. Again, one of my favorite premier auction outlets. You could literally get coins sent to them and listed within about a week or two. And they're quick, depending on how quickly you need the listing sold. They could put it on there for as early as maybe 7 days, 14 days, and as high as 30, plus. So depending on your need, Great Collections could be that auction site to move a lot of your high profile coins. So we do have quite a list. We got 18 coins. It does start off a little slow. We have a couple modern Lincolns that obviously fit better into registry sets. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right in. It's what you guys have been waiting for. Again, if you guys have the day off because of the holiday, take it easy, get lots of rest. And let's really bang out this week in big style. Starting out with this 1972 Lincoln Memorial Cent. Anytime one of these comes up, they are going to be a pretty good bullseye for a lot of collectors of this variety. Now, this is the Double Die Obverse number 1, or the FS 101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. You can just see just an amazing doubling on this coin is really, really strong and incredible, and rivals a lot of coins like the 55, 69S, but only it's more available out there. As a matter of fact, these coins are still being found in circulation today. This one right here grades out Mint State 66 Red. If you're looking for a coin that is above and beyond what a lot of other folks have, maybe a 64 or 65, a 66 would be a great compromise. It's going to ensure that you have a coin with a low enough population count that it's going to continuously go up in value. And I've seen pretty much the value go up across the board in all grade levels, especially in attractive brown, red brown, and fully mint state examples. So a 66 is a good kind of compromise grade. This one ended up selling for $956.25. Again, just a really nice, suitable collector grade. Could even fit into a typeset as well. Now, the next one that we have here is the 1960 small date Lincoln Memorial. Now, I don't talk about this coin that often because very few of them come up in auction, especially when they grade out this deep. This one is an NGC graded Proof 69 red with cameo, which is a tough designation to find on these earlier Lincolns. You just don't see a lot of high quality proof coins from the 50s and 60s with the level of cameo frosting that you would expect for being a collector coin. The small date, again, is a rarity in the proof sets. Not so much like a super rare coin. I've personally cherry-picked a few of these out of these proof sets over the years. But, you know, compared to the large dates, I mean, they can be a little bit tough to find. However, I will say this, the large dates has a lot going for it as well. There's a lot of really prominent varieties that can be found. I believe there's a small over large date proof, 1960, that is especially noteworthy, that you guys should keep an eye out on. But this coin right here, again, such a beautiful representative piece with these dark blackish mirrory fields on there. Kind of contrasted with the beautiful cameo frosting on there, albeit a little bit light on the obverse, but really nice nonetheless. This one ended up selling for $1,183.04. The next one that we have here, no doubt about it, is pure registry set fodder. For anyone looking for a 53, this is, of course, one of the most difficult dates to find. And you could say the same for most early 50s Philadelphia minted coins. Finding a 67, which is top of the heap for a lot of these particular dates, is near next to impossible. And, you know, when one does come up in auction, it's going to be bidded on, you know, at a very furious rate. A lot of people are interested in it. This particular example ended up selling for $2,082.38. And again, here's another coin we don't talk enough about on the show. It's a 1942 Lincoln wheat cent. This is, of course, another proof coin. This is actually the final proof coin before the U.S. Mint paused on the proof coinage program up until 1950. So 42 is what I consider to be a much more affordable date if you could find it as a standalone coin. Oftentimes you'll find these in full sets, and that's where you pay a pretty hefty premium. Cameo frosting is near next to impossible to find on any of these, but you're really going for numerical grade in this instance. This one happened to be a 67 red, and it sold for $3,055.50. Now, this beast over here from San Francisco is obviously a coin that is reserved specifically for a super high-end registry set. Now, what's the difference between a regular registry set and one that's super high-end? Well, the super high-end is constantly looking to add coins like this at any cost, okay? At any cost. That's the addendum that I've added to that phrase. That really sets this particular group of registry set participants from the rest. I mean, if you're not opposed or shy about spending, in this case, $12,656.25 for what is considered to be a highly available mint state coin out in I'm not going to say circulation, but in the marketplace. If $12,000 makes you ill, then this is probably not for you in your registry set. It is a lot of money because it is. Again, we probably had 3 or 4 high-profile registry set owners that need this grade in a 68. I mean, this is probably a pop 1 or 2. It's that deep. But there you go. That's our first 5-figure coin of the week. And here's a 34D. This is actually a very attractive coin, an early date piece right here. 34Ds aren't particularly difficult to find, especially in the higher grades. I think I talked about another 67 that sold either last week or the week before. But a lot of these generally have come out of BU rolls, and 34D BU rolls are quite scarce, but you know, they have come more available just in the last two years. And not at a cheap price either. There's a number of things you can find out of a 34D roll other than high graded coins like this one. 67 red, again, probably made more for a registry set. I wouldn't personally, invest in something like this because it is a high mintage. Sold for $2,531.25. All right, we're on to nickels, and we got some scarcities right here. 68S. This is one of the most difficult, toughest graded examples that you could possibly aim for. Good luck finding any of these late 60s. I would say San Francisco's. You can even make the argument that Denver's can be just as tough. Just the strikes were just garbage during these last few years of the 60s. And that's primarily the big reason why that coins like the 69S in, like, say, Mid-State 67 full steps is about a $50,000 coin. All right, so the 68S is not too far off from that. This is another coin that underachieved in the overall dime maintenance department. But this one is a 66 full steps. More than likely, there's some registry set that badly needed this one because they probably don't have a full steps example. Or probably they had a non-full steps, maybe high-graded 66 or 67, and they needed this to make the switch. This one right here ended up selling for $3,487.50, which for Jefferson nickel registry set folks, this is peanuts. This is nothing. But yeah, good luck trying to find one in a much higher grade than this. And then over here we have a 1963. Again, another extremely difficult date. Now, the submitter opted to go with NGC on this one, and it's just to get some sort of full steps designation. This one is a 67 with 5 full steps. All right, there are NGC graded nickels that have 6 full steps, but when you have to settle, might as well go with NGC. In this case, it was a wise choice. Coin looks nice, albeit it looks like any garden variety 63 with the planchette nicks and all that stuff that is pretty commonplace on these coins. This one sold for $1,415.25. Alright, so we do have a feast of the eyes for you guys. We have a few very late dated Buffalo nickels. These are all 1930s. Still quite accessible. For just regular plebeian, collectors like myself, who, prefer to cherry pick coins like this for about $50 or $100, and then possibly rolling the die and sending it off to PCGS or NGC. In the case of this 37S, this is just a really clean coin. There's not really a whole lot that detracts from it. I mean, at a Mid-State 68, that's balling out right there, and this is, again, a registry set caliber of coin. This one ended up selling for $8,268.75, proving once again that Buffalo nickel enthusiasts are some of the most kind of like richest and most dedicated individuals out there. A truly high-end, registry set or collection is a marvel. And when you look at other coins like this, a 36D, this one's a Mid-State 67, another high-grade beast by all accounts. This one here is very clean with a very nice strike, which is what you would typically find from the 30s. You really don't see a lot of deficits when you're trying to collect into these later dated coins. This one right here ended up selling for $1,299.38. 67 seems to be a floor on these 1930s Buffaloes where it gets expensive. Anything less than this, becomes a lot more affordable at a few $100. And this coin looks like it came right directly from Angel D's collection, which, if you guys aren't familiar with that collection, a lot of it was disbanded and sold a number of years back. But a lot of them were super high-end graded toners. Okay, this one right here is just a basic 1936 and not particularly the highest grade possible for this particular coin. However, you have a lot of originality here. This more than likely was probably an album toner at one point. This one at a 67, and it sold for $3,956.62. And then we're going to end off this little slot with, of course, one of the most toughest dates that you could possibly imagine or find is a 26D. Not the perennial key for this particular decade. I think we could owe that to the 26S. Close, but, it's about 1,000 miles east of the San Francisco facility. Maybe a little bit more. It's Denver, so probably 1,500 miles. I don't know. But this one, just again, if you need it for a registry set, this one is it. And you can even say that this is a coin that could be well suited for a typeset, like an ultra high-end typeset. This one ended up selling for $14,917.50, and that is pretty much par for the course for these coins. Now, dimes, we got a couple of doozies here for you, only because there are some super high-end, 80s, 90s era coins that you wouldn't think would even make the list. But Great Collections had the distinction of showcasing and selling some of the L.S. Brown collection. The L.S. Brown collection entails a really nice registry of Roosevelt dimes, starting out with this 1996p. I mean, who would have thought that this would even be on the list? But yeah, there's a lot of clout here with this coin. It's a mint state 68 with full split bands. As you can see, it's a very crisp coin that if you needed it for your personal registry set, this is the one to get right here. This one ended up selling for $1,040.62. And then here's a 93D, again, same deal, only it's a grade point lower at a 67 full bands. Very tough date to find full bands at. Normally the reverse strike is a little weak on these, and, coming from Denver, who would have thought, right? Again, more L.S. Brown love here. This one ended up selling for $1,108.12. And then we do have a 1990D, another L.S. Brown coin. Now, I will say, because I also picked up a little bit of data on this coin, believe it or not, this is a scarcity. And again, who would have thought that this coin would be scarce in full bands? I mean, look at the grade. It's only a 66. Nothing like the previous two coins. But this coin right here ended up selling for nearly 3 times the amount of each one of the last two coins, respectively. So, I mean, I thought about it and looked at it, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. It's 66 full bands. That sold for $2,925. There's got to be something up with this. And there sure was. There's only 4 total pieces graded with full split bands, with only 1 specimen in a finer grade, and that's a 67. So at $2,900, you can only imagine how much that 67 would ultimately go for on the secondary market. It would be anybody's guess. And then we do have an 83D. Now, this is not an L.S. Brown coin, but this is on the list only because it's a premium high-grade registry set coin. This one is a mid-state 67 full bands through PCGS. Again, it's a very, very smooth-looking coin, lots of luster. I mean, there's not a lot of people that dabble in actually sending these coins out to grading companies. But here you go, 83D. This one ended up selling for $1,968.75. You put it all together, that's like between 4 coins? 4 dimes? And they're all like ultra moderns? That's like $7,000. And that's not to include the other like 3 or 4 examples within this time frame on Great Collections that sold in excess of $1,000. I just opted not to put them all on the list because that would just be, well, ridiculous. And then we're going to end the show off here with a few really nice quarters. We have this 1967, just again, anything 65, 66, 67, all the way up to 1970, trying to find supreme graded registry set candidates are really tough. Okay, oftentimes you're going to find that really nice 66 or 67, and 67 used to be the bell cow of this particular decade until grading companies like NGC graded 68s of a few of these coins, just incredibly premium coins that are quite scarce. This one right here ended up selling for $2,295. Keeping in mind that during a few years stretch from 65 to 67, there were no mint sets. So it's not like you could cherry pick mint sets to find these coins. All there were the SMS coins, which were a hybrid of proof and business strike coins. So your best bet was to look in old collections. If there's a BU roll that exists somewhere out there of this trio of dates, you're probably going to end up paying multiple hundreds of dollars just to own the roll because of the scarcity of some of these coins. And then finally, we're just going to end it off on a peachy, kind of like, I'm not going to say blast white. It is predominantly blast white. I know a lot of you guys love just like out of roll, untoned type coins. This one does have a little bit of Aupers toning, but really nothing to write home about. This is a 4060, very common date, might I add, but, the date is not very common in mid-state 67 plus. And it's also CAC certified, so you have a double whammy here that really puts this one over the top. And this one ended up fetching $2,643.75. And that's our final coin for the week. Not too bad for considering that it's a show week. The next big show is Long Beach, middle of next month. If you guys are on the West Coast, go ahead and make the trip. That's always a big show with a lot of big attendees. I'm sure we're going to see more heritage auctions and great collections might be there as well, considering that they're headquartered out of Southern California, along with PCGS and a lot of the usual suspects. So that's going to go ahead and do it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of the Monday Market Report for the week ending January 16th. 2022. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound. It sure was a pleasure. Don't forget to do all three of those things on screen because I'll love you long time, guys. Yeah, that'll do it. Coinaholics, we're discovering together. You guys take care. Have a wonderful week. And I'll see you, well, hopefully on the live stream tonight. Be there or be square. So long.